Okay, let me start the webinar. Good day to one and all. This is Dr. Sivaraman of IKnowIndices.com. So I'll be presenting Asian Session Live Market Analysis webinar for this particular week, 20th to 24th of January. We are on 20th. So between 5 and 5:30 GMT, I try to review the market and explain to you what the forecast says, the derived forecast says, and also the levels which are mathematically derived, whether the market is expected to make an upward or the downward move. Now, before going to that of the forecast, now we are on the yearly trend reversal time. So it is the third week of the month of January. So during the month of December and January, the market is known to make the yearly trend reversal moves. So during that process, we will come across more and more of the USD weakening and the USD gaining moves, making alternative, which are being made alternatively. Besides, we could come across more of a contrarian move. And on Friday, we would have noticed that GBP was gaining about 100 pips, whereas Euro was dropping about 100 pips. So that sort of contrarian moves are part of this trend reversal time. So we will not be able to say whether the market is really bullish or bearish. So it will be only the contrarian move by which the players try to bring in more and more volatility in the case of the crosses. So let me explain to you the expected market moves during this particular third week. The volatile moves are expected to prevail, and you will come across upward moves as part of the game. So there could be a quick drop and quick rise move, but in the process there might be more rise than that of the drop. Now with regard to Euro and GBP, what are the expected market moves for the 5 days of this week are being displayed in this particular slide. So today, 20th, Euro and GBP are expected to make the swing and firm up move. Then swing and rise move could be seen during the European session, and swing and slide move is expected during that of the US session. So it will be something like a parabolic curve, just to gain levels and afterwards just come back again. So one can do a buy and sell trade till that of the European session, afterwards sell and buy trade for the day. Then 21st January, swing and rise moves are expected during that of the Japanese session, that is tomorrow. Then there will be a dip during start of the European session and then rise. And US session there could be subdued moves or swings. Then 22nd there could be a dip during that of the European session. Whenever the dip comes, it may not happen in both Euro and GBP. It may happen on certain days with regard to Euro. On certain other days, it may be with regard to GBP. That we have to do it with the help of the market reading, which currency is expected to make the dip from time to time, following the types of moves they are making. Then afterwards, the swing and slide moves are expected on Wednesday on the downside. Then swing and rise move is expected during that of the US session. Then Thursday, you could come across swing and rise during Japanese session. Swing will be a lower level swing and then gain. Then a dip and firm of subdued moves could be seen during European session. Then swing and rise move is expected during that of the US session. Then on Friday, swing and rise or firm up could be seen during that of the Japanese session. Then a quick rise as a spike could be seen on the upside, and from there they could make the slide and creating either way stop moves. And then finally, for the US session for weekend, they are expected to make the swing and quick rise moves on the upside. So we'll come across that initially the market might appear bearish by making some drops in the case of Euro, or alternatively in the case of GBP. That way they handle the Euro GBP cross, and we'll not be able to say that the market is making US dollar gaining or US dollar weakening move, and it will be of a contrarian nature. Then afterwards, on Thursday and Friday, you could come across the big gaining moves could happen. And The quick gaining moves will induce, after creating the bearish field, they will induce the traders to do the short covering on Thursday as well as the Friday. Then afterwards, you come across the next week. There is going to be the last week of the month of January, 27th to 31st of January. The market is expected to make very big volatile moves during that time because it is going to be the month end, and we could come across more and more of whipsaw moves in the market. So we will not be in a position to use the chart and say that whether Euro and GBP are going to go up or come down. That sort of precarious condition they will try to create it. And so these are all nothing but the drop and buy strategies of the players. Now looking into that of the live market code page, you can see that they already started the contrarian move, that Euro is showing 11 pips negative net change. GBP is showing about 7 pips or 6 pips negative net change. USDN is also showing 26 pips negative net change. So that means when all the three currencies are showing negative net change, that means they are making a contrarian move with regard to the N crosses. So as I explained that in the previous weeks also, that they will be doing within the week the sequential trend reversal moves. That is, they will start with the commodity pairs and followed by the commodity crosses, followed by the commodity pairs, then afterwards the N crosses, and then the majors. Then finally they will come to that of the European cross. That is why Friday you would have seen the European crosses made big moves, especially Euro GBP. They gained the levels in the case of GBP and dropped the levels in the case of Euro. That sort of moves they will try to make it in order to handle the European crosses. So this sequential trend reversal, if you could remember, then you'll be able to see that which currency they are going to be very active during the next part. So they will do it continuously on all the 5 days of this particular week, and they may stop in one specific say commodity crosses, then start making the moves with regard to the commodities and stop during any one session the commodity pairs moves, and then later on focus on the N crosses, and then finally you could come across that they handle the majors. So if you think that the majors are going to bring in much of an activity, it may not. You may come across more with regard to that of the crosses of the majors as well as the commodities. So please understand that there is no question of bullish and bearishness involved in this market at the current scenario, and they are expected to make the mixed moves or the contrarian moves, and we need to identify the currency pair and accordingly trade from time to time. With regard to the levels, what you could see during this particular week, Euro could form the downside as 1.35, and they are all mathematically derived levels, and the upside could be 1.3850. And in the case of GBP, 1.6350 could be the low, and so far what they have shown actual levels are given below. Then 1.6725 could be the high, and they could suddenly gain the levels in the case of GBP and drop the levels in the case of Euro and then gain the levels big in the case of Euro and suddenly drop GBP. This sort of moves they are expected to make during this particular week. Then USDN is expected to make a higher level swing to continue the downward move. So 101.50 could be seen. They could go to that of 102 or 102.50 level. Afterwards, with the extended downward stop, and they may reach 101.50 and then reverse the market upward. Then afterwards, USDN is expected to go above 105. This time they will try to push it down, and that will give the trigger for the yen crosses to go down. Whenever they drop Euro and GBP, along with that they will drop USDN also. As a result, you will come across negative net change in the case of the yen crosses, especially Euro yen and GBP yen. So afterwards, they will continue to push it downward, and then later on rise. When Euro and GBP gained the levels, they will rise the levels in the case of USDN as well. That way, they will do either way contrarian move in order to handle the yen process. And USD CHF, you can see that they are gradually gaining the levels slowly every week, 50 pips, and now it has come to that 0.91 and 0.9275 could be seen slowly. They could gain the levels, and later on we might find that USD CHF flare up similar to that of Canadian dollar in a big way on the upside, and they will just use some trigger and quickly gain the levels in the case of USD CHF. Till going to the top of 0.9450, they'll be making slow gaining moves. At the moment, you see that Euro has dropped about 11 pips from that of Friday close, whereas USD CHF has gained about 16 pips from that of Friday close. This way, they try to make contrarian move in this, even though they are making the USD gaining move, but there is a variation with regard to the pips. They will try to improve on it and bring in more moves in the case of the European crosses, especially Euro CHF. Then with regard to the commodity pairs, you come across in the case of Canadian dollar, they are making below the 1.10 the higher level consolidation. Every time they pull it up to the 1.0992, 0987, 0970 and things like that and drop it. They are doing the pump and dump moves on the higher level in the case of Canadian dollar, and then induce the traders to go freely in long positions in the case of USD CAD. Everybody will say that the resistance has turned support. Probably it may not drop further, but suddenly it will make a drop in when USD CHF is gaining the levels. That is to handle USD CHF with regard to that of USD CAD, that is CHF CAD cross. So don't immediately become bullish with regard to USD CAD, and you may find that it may not linearly go up. It is doing the high level consolidation with the upward stop end in order to make a drop. So the Australian dollar is doing the lower level consolidation with a downward stop end in order to gain the levels, and it could gain about to 0.90 or 91 level during this particular week. And already it has been indicated that they made a very quick downward stop in the case of Australian dollar and started gaining the level, holding closer to the high. So always keep in mind that when they are holding closer to the high, then they are expected to make an upward stop and then drop. When they are holding closer to the low, they are expected to make a downward stop and then drop. So you have to find out where they are holding it. When they are in the middle level, that means the volume is relatively less, so they are simply holding it with a small swing. Until the volume comes, then they will try to make such swings, and during the early and the late sessions, they could be able to bring in more of the up as well as the downward move. Now we'll go to the market reading part of it. So for the market reading, we note down the initial lows and the highs around 3:30 GMT on a daily basis and try to find out whether the market is trying to stay near that of the low or stay near that of the high, and what they are trying to do it in order to identify the type of moves they are doing it in the market from time to time. So once you know that they are making an extended downward move, then they will make an intentional upward move. In case if they make an intentional downward move for 2 sessions and start up the third session, they will make an upward extended move for about 2 hours. And in between, they will make the stop-ins, swings, and also the false move during session change times. So that you have to keep it in mind. So don't become simply bearish just because they have dropped it or just because they gain the levels. So this is the way they try to handle the crosses. So Euro has not breached the low or the high. GBP has also not breached the low or the high from that of 3:30 GMT. Then USDN also not breached the low or the high, and CHF has not breached low or high. Canadian dollar also not breached the low or the high. AUD is also not breached the low or the high, which indicates that they just made the initial moves in the market, and then subsequently they are waiting for the traders to commit, and later on they are expected to make the moves. So based on the herd mentality of the traders, when the traders commit positions, they are expected to swing and firm up and then swing. So swing always, it could be a lower level swing or higher level swing or middle level swing. That is why I always mention it as a swing. But with the help of the live market code page, you can find out where they are making such small swings. The swings can be for about 3 to 5 pips if there is really low volume, or 15 to 23 pips if relatively good volume is there. Beyond that, they will try to make, if more than 23 pips, then it will be either a stop and or a false move or an extended move or an intentional move. Hence, we use the stop 30 pips away from the other market. So, if you want to trade, then what you do is, first of all, we look into the other currencies which are making more than 40 pips spread between the low and the high. Then choose such currencies and find out whether it is closer to the high or closer to the low, and what they have done it. Are they likely to make an upward stop or a downward stop? When they make an upward stop during the late session, then they could be making a dip during gap time and the session start time, and before making an intentional move on the upside. So that you can watch and wait for the dip and try to take a buy in the case of Euro, GBP and Australian dollar, and don't short immediately in the case of CHF. But you can short in the case of during the upward move, you can short in the case of USD-Yen and USD-CAD, because they are doing the high level consolidation with an upward stop in order to make the drop in them. Now, with regard to the session timings, so now we are in the Japanese session 0030 to 7:30 GMT. So try to focus on the majors during the early and the late sessions, and the crosses during the mid sessions. And gap time, they are known to make the false move. So early session, they may make a stop on the upside or on the downside. Then mid session, the swing. Then the opposite move could be seen. Suppose during the early session, if they have done the downward stop, the late session, they will try to make an upward stop. So that way, when they make a downward stop, you can buy and book profit during the upward stop in order to maximize the profit. Then don't do any position trade during this trend reversal, yearly trend reversal time, because they are expected to make either way moves, and you may have to hold it for a long time. That might be a patient testing game. So that is what I wanted to emphasize. Now, if you've got any questions, then you can ask. I'll be willing to answer to those questions. Okay. David. CAD, please, do you see drop? Yes. Yes, the CAD is expected to make a big drop after this prolonged high-level consolidation in the range of 1.0992 to 1.0927 level. Then when to buy? They are expected to drop at least 200 pips. Then afterwards you can think of buying. Then Mohan Kumar, Euro. Okay, Euro is expected to make a small dip. Probably they may try to take the stops below the psychological level, 1.35. And then probably during the EO session, they are expected to make a dip. They could gain and make an upward stop and then come down and make a downward stop below the low. And tomorrow they are expected to start gaining in the case of Euro. Then Euro Yen, how much a rise will happen? They could make only a small gain, because USD Yen, they are not expected to make any big rise. At the moment, they are doing the high level consolidation with the upward stop, and that they had done it last week at around 105. They come to 104. At every level, they will try to induce the traders to hold the high level buys and then try to make a drop. So now they will consolidate around 104 and make a drop to 103. Then consolidate there and come to 102. That sort of moves they are expected to do it, and you will not be able to book 100 pips profit in single day. It may take time if you wait. Suppose you have 105 sell level, then probably 104 you will be able to buy it now. That sort of situation they will try to create it during this time. This is mainly to make a contrarian move and make a downward moves in the case of yen crosses, like Euro yen and GBP yen. So Euro and GBP yen, they made a massive rise during the early part of January, and then subsequently, and also in December, and then subsequently they are just making continuous drop. So just make a small gain and then drop, small gain and then drop. At every level, the traders will be holding long position and get stopped. That sort of moves they are trying to do it. Focus only on swing trade. Then do close. Can we also short GBP? Yes, you can short GBP. Yeah, when you just watch how exactly they make the contrarian move, that is, they come close to that of the high, and closer to that of the net change 0000 in the case of Euro, and also GBP, and a small gain in the case of yen. At the time shorted, they will start dropping all the trade. Okay. And come on, Euro yen, how much rise will happen? See, it is very difficult to estimate whether they will gain about 20 pips or 50 pips and things like that. We have to see the momentum in the market during the early and the late sessions. But the upside, I have given it 104.50 in the case of Euro, sorry, in the case of yen. So that much they might be able to gain it, make a brief upward stop and if needed, and then make a drop. So in the case of Euro, always whenever Euro yen, whenever the currency is closer to the high and stop cutting the new high for more than 30 minutes, during the mid-session, you take a sell position. So you have to follow the timing and also you have to follow the level. So timing will be the mid-sessions, especially when you are trading the process. And shorting will be around that of the high, what they are set, not near that of the low. That is a very bad trade. But if they breach the initial low and stay below there for about 2 hours, then you can short, then they will make a definite downward move, an extended move like 100 pips, 200 pips, etc. But you have to wait for the opportunity rather than taking a position and expecting the market to make big moves immediately, but they may not do it. Then develop Euro yen. So Euro yen, a small pullback to about 140.95 or 101 level, one can short, and then it will start dropping it, and probably you could come to about 139.80 etc. Then winner of X. When will trend reversal move end? Okay, this sort of contrarian moves will get over, or the trend reversal move will get over by next week, and afterwards you will come across the monthly trend reversal during first week of February. Then afterwards you will come across the trending move. So as we see that, you will be able to understand from the chart the yearly trend reversal time from start of January or start of December up to the end of January. The market, the charts will be very, very haphazard, going up, going down and things like that, not establishing any specific trend. And Douglas. Can we also short GBP yen after USD yen makes an up move? Yes, we can short. Okay, AUD when to buy. You can start buying it AUD because they have started gaining the levels, but it is in the middle level. During the, see, now it is the mid session. So either during the early session near that of the low, during that of the late session when they make a small dip, or during start of the European session when they make a small dip, you try to buy it. And keep the hedge order to limit the risk, because the market is known to make stop-ins on either side very frequently, depending upon the traders committing positions. So focus on the early and the late sessions. They are likely to make the dip during that of the US session start, in the case of Aussie, and then start gaining the levels in the case of Aussie. At the time, they might make a profit booking move in the case of Euro and GBP. So all contrarian move because they will try to handle the commodity crosses and also yen crosses today. No more questions? Okay. I'll just recollect what the forecast says, etc. Okay. This week is the third week, so they will be handling more of the crosses. And next week will be the last week of the month. They will be handling the majors in a big way. So last week and this week, they will be focusing more on the thick crosses during trend reversal, yearly trend reversal time. So they are expected to make a swing and form up and swing and rise during European session, Japanese and the European session, and then swing and slide during that of the US session. Then subdued swings could be seen tomorrow. Then day after tomorrow, they will try to make an extended downward the intentional downward move and then gain the levels during the US session and start gaining the levels afterwards. And Friday, they could make either way stop and move and quickly gain the levels to induce the short sellers to do the short covering. The range also I have given it. So you just follow the range and try to see that how they are doing the high level consolidation with the upward moves in all the currencies. Slowly they will gain the levels, and USDN and USD CAD, they have done the high level consolidation because they are the first currencies to gain the levels. If you have noticed from November, they are the first ones to gain the levels from that of the range, and they are the one to drop. And during that time, the other currencies will gain the levels. So always try to compare all the 6 pairs simultaneously so that you will be able to understand which currency they are handling at a given time. There is one more question. Yashin, when is the right time to take position trade in majors? Yeah, from second week of February. Then once the trend is set, you can try to take the position that you can hold till end of the month of February or March. You will be able to make sizable profit. So keep in mind that the session timings are vital. We follow the type of moves using the session timings. Then it will make sense for you to trade. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand the type of moves what I explained. Okay. So I take this opportunity to thank FXtrade for the facilities provided to present the webinar. And Thursday, I got some other work, so I will not be able to present it on 23rd. I'll come back on next Monday, 27th Jan, and give the forecast for the last week of January. Meanwhile, if you've got any questions, you can ask. I'll be posting the recording link of the records in the fxtrade.net and also inoindustries.com/blog. You can ask questions there. If you've got any doubt and any clarification you need, then I'll be willing to answer to those questions in the blog to continue. So wish you all the best in your trades. See you next week. Thank you.